Damn, y'all. So today, Rapper the Game had this big announcement, this Thanksgiving Turkey Day announcement, that it seemed almost like he wanted to get back to the music, back to the rapping, and leave all this bullshit, this fugazi, just from lying and recycling freestyles and just all the social media antics and such, scamming artists, lying about getting KO'd, letting that become the catalyst for Whack 100, whose name is attached to the game, like extorting him and, using, like, you know what I mean? Wax on that silly shit where he disrespect Nipsey Hussle's legacy over and over again. It had the game looking silly as hell because, he rocked with Nip, had some things to do with his career and whatnot, bringing him on tour and getting all his face tats after he passed. And everyone's like, yo, why you letting Wack do that? You know what I mean? Because we know he has him in the chokehold from the way he obtained his management rights, to also him having that KO footage. It's like there's just been so much silly ish with the game, and it seemed like finally this post that he put out that he's got a Gangsta Grills mixtape and then the documentary 3 coming, like back to the music, let's leave the bull ish behind. And then now I see this.
First time I met Kendrick was a long time ago. I don't even know if he'll remember. He was going to the Yet Center in Compton, and as part of a probationary program, I had to go be a big brother at this Yet Center, and me and my homie Tato,
getting hours signed on. Hell yeah.
Yeah, and I wasn't Kendrick's big brother, but he used to come in there and, like, he was real young, man, and he was just always charismatic, always good with the words, man, and just a funny little guy. I don't even know if he remembers that. And so when I had and we grew up like across the street and around the corner from each other. But I gang bang hard, and Dot, he not affiliated, but he Compton, and he ain't no punk either.
Right.
So and everybody from the hood that don't bang still is from the hood.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like he got that, but I always knew. So in the beginning, I would be going in the beginning of my career. I'd be going by Top Dog's house, and just helping him with J-Rock stuff and lending my 2 cents, since I was a little bit ahead of the curve than from where they were. And I was always asking Top. I was like, yo, let me get Dot. He was like, no. And so he knew what he was. I knew what he was. J-Rock, when I took J-Rock on tour, Dot was hype man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I asked Top again at my house in Glendale. I was like, let me get Dot. He was like, nah. But he was like, yo, what if we piece up TDE? And I was like, man, I got Black Wall Street. I'm good. I want you to do.
So when you say let me get Dot, are you talking about let me get him as an artist or as a feature?
Let me get him as an artist, because I already knew. I knew what he was going to be. And nobody didn't understand it yet except everybody that was around Top and TDE. They knew. And I knew.
The game caught lying again, according to someone who was on the scene, and lying about K-Dot, Kendrick, of all things, of all people. So you guys heard this story from the game there on Big Boy, talking about it goes back before music, as Kendrick, J-Rock, TD artists were on a lot of the Black Wall Street radio mixtapes and such, and their careers have crossed paths in that way. When Kendrick got put out there more to the masses on a mainstream level, it was on the games, The City. Kendrick had the hook and spit a crazy verse, and it was crazy too. There was some ish going around where Game was rapping that when performing Kendrick's verses, which was odd, as there was a lot of people theorizing Game had kind of grown jealous of Kendrick Lamar because Kendrick became everything the Game maybe was supposed to have been or could have been. Not that he isn't had a great career, but like I said, there's just so much sucker suspect ish about him that people are like, yo, except for like the super hardcore stands, but most people are like, Game, man, he's a guy that social media hurt him more than it helped him in a lot of ways. It just showed a lot of fugazi tendencies and lying and such. What was that, Red Rose or whatever, tired ass recycled freestyle, you know what I mean? But then we see here, what's his name, 2 T's TDE, who is said to be security or something like that for TDE, that he was around, and he's saying that that's flat out cap. The game is at it again, telling lies, telling stories, changing, putting extras on things, but apparently he's saying like it went before the Black Wall Street stuff and was in a Big Brother type setting or something like that, and some program. Kendrick was around and rapping, and he could see the greatness before anyone, and he tried to tell Top Dog, yo, let me get Kendrick. And it's wild too when he says, yo, I don't know if he was talking about like merging Black Wall Street and TDE or something like that. I'm not sure exactly if that's what he meant, but he's like, oh, I'm good, I got Black Wall Street. But that's another thing that the game did that never really made sense, is the mixtapes were dope. He had a lot of up and coming talent on them Black Wall Street mixtapes, but he never did anything with any of those artists, from Black Wall Street to Blood Money ENT to Winner's Circle to Rolex Records to Money Gang. You know what I mean? We saw him fall out with artists like Compton Menace and different cats. Like, he never put out an official project with them on it, and it wasn't really a label, if you will. Like, I don't know. I mean, I guess they opened for him and whatnot, but it's just like what Top Dog was doing with his label was, and became a movement, world renowned, world known. Like, Black Wall Street is an afterthought at this point, But real talk, I couldn't believe this. Like I was saying, I was like, okay, Game put out this big announcement. He reshared something, a post someone had thrown on the gram of them saying what are some of the great no skip projects, and he mentioned the Game, the documentary, and Jay-Z Reasonable Doubt, which is kind of like the Game's old nemesis, you know what I mean, who would never give the Game the attention he wanted off the disses, you know what I mean, because we know the Game bit that in a sense from 50 Cent, How to Rob the Industry, in the way he dissed everyone. Like, the Game did the same thing and did it against Fifth in his own label, and we know that led to him being dismissed from the label and all that. But at the end of the day, man, like, Jay-Z would never really respond. He gave him like a freestyle where it seemed like he was mentioning him, and like a quick reference on, what was it, the Blueprint 3 intro or whatever. But the Game reshared that, saying, as there's many other no skip projects out there. Someone mentioned Illmatic in the comments, and I'm sure there's many more. It's a short that I did. If you make sure to subscribe and all that, make sure to tap in. As always, I want to hear from y'all, the people out there, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about over here with Jay Coffee Talk. But I couldn't believe it. I was like, man, he just basically, to me, and what a lot of people took from it, was good. Game's back focused. Documentary was a classic project. Doctor's Advocate was lit. He made good music. Even the last, what was it, Drillmatic, was pretty decent, minus the Eminem Love Obsession song, Pause. That shit, the Black Slim Shady shit was trash. I thought it was supposed to be like a dissing Eminem. Oh, I can eat him up now. It came off like a stand, like, I don't know, you know what I mean, like he was doing an Eminem impression, or he was just so moved by Eminem as an artist, it didn't really come off like I don't know, I thought it was whack. But point is, it just felt like he was ready to get back to the music. And then here is this viral clip of him just full-blown capping, according to 2T's TDE. And again, what do y'all think of this, man? Not a good look, obviously, on the promo run for the new project coming out, to be having another viral cap clip in it, to mention Kendrick Lamar of all peoples. And what do y'all think about that? About people thinking that maybe he had grown jealous of him and bitter. And a lot of people thought that the moment that was really on display was the way he acted after not being included in the Super Bowl and all that, man, but Jay-Z being involved in that as well, burning bridges, is never a good thing. And you know what I mean, when motherfuckers get to lying and telling stories and capping about shit, like, I don't know, you can never trust a motherfucker like that, in my opinion, man. But there y'all have it. The Game called out for lying, full-blown cappery once again, and about it involving K-Dot.